Hey guys, so I'm here to wrap up my Bookopoly from last week and tell you what I picked for this week and show you my rolls as well. I'm apologize in advance. My cats are in this room right now and they are acting crazy. And if you hear any noises, it's them being insanely crazy. So to wrap up last week, I read Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I finished it in 3 days, which I was quite proud of, and I really liked it. It was very interesting, and it wasn't as complicated as I thought it was when I first tried to read it. It actually ended up being a lot easier to read and listen to, so I really enjoyed it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, as it wasn't my type of book. It was just very, very complicated, but not at the same time. It's hard to explain. But if you stop listening or stop reading for like a day, you'll get confused and forget everything because it's just that complex. And I felt like it could have been a lot shorter. So while I did like it, it could have been shorter and less daunting. Then I read Cold as a Marble, or Light as a Feather, Cold as a Marble, which is the sequel to Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board. I didn't like it as much as the last one. I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. It was not my favorite. See, they're crazy. It definitely wasn't as good as the first one. I loved the first one, so I was really disappointed in it, and it actually made me not want to watch the rest of the series because I tried watching season 2 and it was kind of following the book, and I was like, you know what, I'm good. So I stopped watching it. I also read All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda, and I gave that a 2 out of 5 stars as well. It was okay. It was predictable. It was your typical thriller. It didn't have any good twists, and I was like, okay, that's really who the killer is. This is really how this happened. And it was also confusing because it started at the end, like with, okay, this is who died, and this is how, blah, 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 and then it went backwards. And I was like, okay, that's a cool way to do it, but I don't know who the killer is then. So it was, yeah, I didn't like it. I also was supposed to read Pan's Labyrinth, which I have separated right here. So I have the dust jacket, and I have the actual book, which look how pretty this is. It's got the fairy on it, and then it's got the girl with the book. I forget her name. It's gonna bother me now. Anyway, I think it's Ophelia, but I could be wrong. And I didn't finish it. I'm 25 pages into it on chapter 5, but I am going to read it on my breaks at work, because I have to actually physically read this book instead of listen to the audiobook. So I'm gonna read like 25 pages every 15-minute break, and I get 2 of those, so I'll have it done by the end of the work week, which is Monday through Friday for me. So I will be able to finish that and cross it off my list. And I'm enjoying it so far. It's really entertaining, and it's kind of spooky, and I like it. So I might reread it during Halloween again. I don't know. Since it is a short read, I might listen to the audiobook in Halloween time. So yeah, that's my wrap up, and let's get into what I rolled for this week.
Okay, a little bit of battery left, so we're going to try to hurry, and then I'll switch to my computer. Left off on hardback or hardcover last time, so we're going to roll. If I land on read, it means I get a 5th book, by the way, a 5th roll for a 5th book. That's what I forgot to tell you in the last clip. So here we go. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Classic, comic, or manga. Okay. Roll 2. Over here in my mess, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Community shelf. And I already shuffled these. Standalone. Okay. 3rd roll. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Adult contemporary. Okay. And last roll. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sci-fi or fantasy. Alright. I will pick out some books and get back with you. Alrighty guys, so when I left off picking my choices, I left off on sci-fi or fantasy for adult books, and I still have my standalone card pulled out of my community shelf, but I'm going to roll 3 more times. I'm sorry, my cat is making crazy noise. I'm going to roll 3 more times because I need a couple more books to read this week since I want at least a book a day, so and I picked short books, so we're gonna roll again. 4. Chance. A Reaper at the Gates. There's a big book. Okay. I'm okay with that. 2. 1, 2. A reread or a nonfiction. Last roll. 12. Sci-fi or fantasy for YA. So I'm going to go pick my books, and I'll tell you what books I picked for all of them.
All right, so now that you've seen what I've rolled, let's talk about what I picked. I rolled a classic comic or manga square. So for that, where did it go? Oh yeah, I chose Animal Farm, which I actually don't have a copy of. But my husband wants to read that, and I was like, let me read it with you, and it'll be my classic for this roll. So we're gonna try that. It is a short book. It's like, for me at 2.5 speed, it's like an hour and a half. So I'll get that done, no problem. And I'll hopefully like it. I'm really picky about classics, so I just don't know. But for my community shelf card, which I had somewhere, there it is. Nope, that's Chance. Anyway, for my community shelf card, I drew a standalone, and for that, I picked The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hong, I think is how you say it. And it actually says on Goodreads that it is a standalone, but it also says that it's a series, so we're just going to assume it's a standalone and read it, because I really want to read it, and it sounds good. I've heard great things, so I'll give that a try. And then for adult contemporary, I decided to read The Choice by Nicholas Sparks, because for one, it was 50 cents at McKay's, and for two, I want to watch the movie, and it's been out forever, and I haven't read the book yet, so book and movie, both accomplished, after this week, hopefully. And then for my adult for my adult sci-fi or fantasy, I chose to read another Samantha Shannon book, which is The Bone Season, which is her debut novel. It's the first in a series, so I'm going to try that, and if I like it, I'll continue with the series. And then I decided after that 4 books just wasn't enough for me this week, because I already finished 4 books today on Monday, and my week started on Monday for this Bookopoly. So, and none of them were those books, but I'm going to pick 3 more anyway. So, I added 3 more rolls, which you've already seen in the second clip, but I added a chance card, and for that I drew a Reaper at the Gates, which I don't actually have a physical copy of, but I do have the audiobook, and I do have the Kindle version, so I'm going to read that. For my second roll, I guess you could say, I rolled onto reread or nonfiction. I do not feel like reading a nonfiction by any means right now, so I chose to reread Blue is for Nightmares. I'm actually ordering this on Amazon here in a minute, and I will have the physical copy to read, because they do not have an Audible version at all, anywhere, not even just on Audible, but any audiobook whatsoever. And I have the Kindle version, but I don't prefer Kindle, so we've learned that lesson. So I'm going to try and read the physical copy over the weekend. That one probably will be the one that won't get accomplished if any of them don't get accomplished, just because it is a physical copy and it takes me longer to read those than it does to listen to the audiobook. And there isn't one, which saddens me so much because I love this series, but I do want to reread it, so I'm going to try my hardest. And then for my last roll, for my second time, I picked YA sci-fi or fantasy, and I've decided that the YA the YA squares are also going to be middle grade or lower as well. So if I want to read Harry Potter, or I want to read Percy Jackson, I can pick those even though they are middle grade, because otherwise I'll never get the books I want to read accomplished, because most of them are middle grade, or YA. So I feel like I should have made more middle grade squares. So we're just going to combine them and call them middle grade YA. I'm not going to change the board though, because that would be too much work. So for my YA sci-fi fantasy, I chose The Isle of the Lost by Melissa De La Cruz. I have no idea if this is middle grade or YA, but I know it's one of the two, so we're going to go with it. I'm ordering that from Amazon as well, as I have a gift card. So I'm going to order those, and then I'll have those. And then, stupidly, I agreed to read all of the Harry Potter books with Mandy. It was my idea, but she wants to start this week after I've added 3 more books. So thank you, Mandy. I appreciate that. But I'm just kidding. But so we're going to read Harry Potter. I don't know if we're going to read 1 or 2 this week. Hopefully just 1, since I don't know, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to make a plan, and we'll figure it out. But at least Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is going to get accomplished this week. I want to physically read this, but let's be real, I'm going to do the audiobook and read along with it. So, yeah, that is my Bookopoly choices. I have 7 books, plus I have to finish, the cat is attacking me, plus I have to finish last week's hardcover option, and I have to read at least 1 Harry Potter book. So, wish me luck. I'll see you guys next time.